Alright guys, we're going to go over the Super Silent 20A Silent Air Compressor. I'm going to show you a few things about this and what I use. I know a lot of guys who just get into it use those automatic on and off compressors that vibrate the hell out of your desk or floor, and I used to use those, but as I really got into the hobby, I decided I needed something better because at the time I was also renting in an apartment. And, you know, that vibrating at night, I couldn't airbrush. I would wake up my brother because I was living with him at the time, or the old people underneath of me would cry and complain. So I invested in this. I did want the bigger one, but I figured a smaller one would be better for what I do. And it is 10 times better, but it was expensive. I think I spent about, I don't know, around $400 at the time. They were about $450, but I found a deal on Amazon. It worked out. It is an oil compressor and it is very heavy, but it is silent and it is wonderful. As you can see over here, this is the oil gauge. It's pretty much, you can change the oil every so often, or so far I haven't. I don't use it as much as they said in the book. Maybe I've had it for about maybe a year or two now. I'll change it in another year. I'll have to wear it. But in the back, it's very heavy. In the back over here is where you pour in the oil. I don't even know how to empty the oil yet, but I don't think I really need to worry about it. So, basically, I am going to change the hose on it. It is a Badger hose that was quick disconnect. As you can see, in transit and using it non-stop, it's gotten old and I need to replace it. So, here is the new one. It is part 50-218, 8-foot braided hose with quick disconnect. I'll show you why I use this, and if you do have more airbrushes to use, of course, it makes life easier. Basically, what you'll need is Teflon tape. You go to Home Depot, you get it. It's like 90 cents or so. I don't know if I'll use this yet. It all depends if I have an air leak. This is called beeswax. It was what I was taught to use back in airbrushing. Beeswax, I think I've had this since college. And just an old needle that maybe bent, broke, whatever. So, what I usually do is I'll take the Teflon tape just to make sure, get a nice even edge of it, and just go over it nice and even. Try to get it in there. You don't want to get in the hole, you just want to get it around it. Basically, when you screw this piece on, it will help with no air leaks. And that's all you really need. You don't need a hell of a lot, but it helps. So, what we do is we put on the new hose. Just get it up in there. Make sure it is going on correctly. And what we'll do here, just a little snug. You don't want to strip it. Just want to get it on nice and tight. So that's there. And what I will do afterwards, it might be overkill. Some people say you might not need to do this, but I like to do it because I want to be sure. I will take the Teflon, go around it. A little pain to get it first working there, of course. Yeah, this is a... we'll get it. Bear with me. We get it. Alright. A little bit more even. And you'll see why I use Teflon on my airbrushes as well. Once we get this going. Okay. Here we go. Get that around. Go around here. on there pretty good. I'll probably just get a little bit more to the edge. The beeswax will be in case if for some odd reason I do have an air leak. What I will do is I'll put the beeswax around the threading, but not too close at all, because you want to put it on and get the beeswax in there. But the beeswax is sort of like an old school way of sealing airbrushes. The way my professor taught me to do it was you put beeswax around it, you get a little bit of a lighter match, it kind of melted in there. And then you could kind of just put it on your hand and go around. It's an old way. It still works. I do use it for some of my Badger airbrushes because those things really need to be sealed, which are a pain. Alright. Well, we'll see how this works. As you can see with the 2020, here we go, get a little bit closer. Alright, so you got your gauge, and then press this down to lock it, pull it up to turn. You got your on and off over here. So what we'll do is we'll turn on the power, and we'll turn the sucker on. So as you can hear, it's going. It's quiet. Not vibrating. It's got a little bit of a tank in there. So you can have this on a desk. You can do this at night. You won't ever bother anybody. It's well worth it. Let it just keep going. There you go. Tank's filled up. So you can lower, make it higher, whatever you need to do. Now, as for the quick disconnects, we basically have your... This is a Badger hose, so you would think, okay, only Badgers work for this, but quick disconnects come in 3 different sizes. So that's the 360 Badger with a quick disconnect. This is my Badger Velocity with a quick disconnect. Now, Badger also makes Iwata quick disconnects for the Badger hose. Different size rings, but you can buy those, so forth. And also for Pache. So basically each airbrush I have for different things. So this airbrush goes in. There you go. Pop it out. Want to put it in the next one. Put it in. Pop it out. Makes life a lot easier. And, you know, do whatever you need to do for here. Less pressure. More pressure. It kicks on every once in a while once the tank's going down, but you can't beat it. So basically got no air leaks. No air leaks over here. Before I was having problems with the other one was in here. If you turn the airbrush a little bit here and there, it would just start leaking like crazy. So it was time for a new hose. But you get the idea, you know, just keep, you know, I got different brushes for different things. You know, this is the 360, you can turn it up and down. I use this for heavier, thick paints. If I want to do some kind of spraying thick stuff. I want to do some detail work. Pop this one in. This is my Iwata HPB Plus. I also have Iwata clips. I use my Pache. It's a Millennium. I don't know where I got this one, but I use this for all my chrome work. As you can see, it's just pretty much of the outclads all over it. So that's pretty much the situation with the compressor. How I usually change the hose. Make life a little easier. Just to give you an idea, these quick disconnects are fairly expensive. You could get them, if you're lucky, on eBay, maybe around 10 bucks, 9, 10, something like that. If you go to a store, at around 12, 13. But if you invest in them, before you know it, you can't live without them, like me. The reason why some of these have, you know, the Teflon on them is because these suckers, I always use these for this. I never take them off. And, you know, by holding it here, it will start to spin off on you. So I figured, let me just tape the hell out of it, make it stay. I ain't got to worry about it. I did use a little bit of a beeswax in these just to keep them in, sealed, whatever. Reason why this one doesn't have any is sometimes I do take this off and I use it for some of the other airbrushes I have for different types of stuff. I do need to get more, but that's the situation. So that's pretty much the silent air compressor, how I usually seal up all my stuff, how I work with my airbrushes. If you have any questions, ask away. Try to reply to them. The only thing I could say is invest in a good compressor. Can't beat it. Those automatic ones that shut on, shut off, and all that stuff on eBay, they're great. It's good to start with, good to learn, they're cheap. But if you really want to get into it, get a good compressor. That's all I can really tell you is compressors really make the difference. You get a nice steady airflow. You don't have to worry about, that little bit of spray or that little jump of air when you don't need it. It just makes life easier. So hopefully you enjoy this. And that's pretty much the situation we're here. We'll get some more videos up as, I get the studio going. Thank you.